What is going on, all you sinners out there? Welcome to the new realism franchise mode, where basically franchise mode, but we try to keep things relatively realistic. All right, now we're gonna have to set some sort of guidelines to that and things like that. But for the most part, we're gonna be doing things that make sense. Like, you're not just gonna trade away a big star out of the blue or anything like that. It'll have to be approved or certain things like that. So first things first, we're gonna take a look at what this team's got to work with, and I'm chuckling already. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't need this. Oh man. So yeah, this is what they got going on. I'm sure there's probably some guys down in the oh my god. Alright, so yeah, first line, Daniel Sedin, Henrik Sedin, and Louis. I'm sorry, I'm just cracking up at these lines. It's hard not to, man. Alright, they got some decent prospects though. This Boser guy, and they got Skilly, and I know they got Goldie now. They got Goldobin. Berchi's pretty decent. Alright. So that's what they have offensively. Defensively, they're actually a bit better on the defensive end. They have quite a few guys who can get pretty damn good. Well, Tanev might be capped out. Goodbranson, on the other hand, he might not get that much better. Now, it all depends on what kind of route we're going to take. So if we're going to go down a rebuilding route, then some of these guys we could give away, like Edler, maybe you trade away someone like that. But one thing we cannot do, I think, if we're going to go for the realism thing, is Daniel and Henrik Sedin, okay? They're both 35, and they've made public statements in real life how they will only waive their no trade to play on the same team together. So I think that should be a thing. If we trade these guys, they have to go to the same team, or we don't trade them at all and they have to retire as Canucks. All right, and there's some other guys that I just don't think we can trade in there. You couldn't really trade a Horvat. I mean, unless he just doesn't pan out. But I think there's a few things like that, definitely. So Edler, I'm not too sure. Vancouver, is he? I know he's been there for a while. Is he a guy you just can't trade at all, or does he have a no trade clause? I'm not too sure. We'll figure out things that kind of make sense for this to work. But yeah, I think a rebuilding route might be the way to go here. Miller, how are you gonna trade that, guys? Markstrom, you could probably move, but Miller, I mean, you just basically have to let this guy retire. There's no value there. No other team would realistically want a guy like Miller, unless it's for some kind of a backup role. And I don't know. We'd have to think about that. But that's what they got right now. AHL wise, there's a Virtanen, power forward, top 6 guy. Yeah, you got to hold on to someone like that. He's listed to be 4th line, so we'd probably bring him up immediately. Start playing him in there. But other than that, no real good this guy, this Roden guy. Okay, but he's almost done growing, so he's not going to turn out to be too much by the looks of it. All right. They got some decent guys here. Tramkin's here, yeah. So Tramkin's a guy you want to hold on to. Defensively, this team would rebuild not pretty quick, but relatively quickly. I mean, when you kind of look at them, defensively, their core would be set in a couple years for sure. And, yeah. Goalie-wise, they got Thatcher Demko. Now, this is a guy that could be your future as a goaltender, and that'd be awesome to have. So, defensively, goaltender-wise, they might be set for the future. Offense, though, that's going to be the big thing. That will be the big thing to do. Okay, so we have to decide what we're going to do. We kind of have to rebuild. And then we have to decide what can we do with Henrik and Daniel. We would either have to trade them to the same team or let them retire. I think that should be a rule that we do for this realism thing, because they've said that in real life, and it would be hard to trade both of them to one team. We'd have to retain salary, and I don't know. We'll figure it out. Louis Eriksson, though, he was a free agency pickup. He's got, oh my god, 6 years left on that deal. That's almost an immovable contract for him. So maybe you have to hold on to this guy while the rebuild's happening, because that's a pretty immovable contract. I mean, no one's gonna really want a guy like that, right? I don't know. We'll see. I'm just gonna have to play this a little bit by ear, guys. I've never done anything that's with a realism bias to it, but basically I'm gonna try to be really careful about who we can move and stuff like that. So we've checked it out a bit. We've looked over the lines. I'm going to look also into the contracts and things like that, because there could be some guys that weren't on the AHL team in here. So we're going to take a good look at that as well. And yeah, that's basically it. So yeah, I definitely think this team needs I mean, they're already kind of rebuilding by the looks of it, but with Henrik and Daniel not being there, it's going to be tough. So, oh yeah, another thing when it comes to drafting, I think we should put something in there where it's like, even if someone has a top pick, like a top 5 pick on the block, there should be some kind of a rule where like we're not allowed to trade for that kind of pick, even like if that team's like a rebuilder or something like that, or like they wouldn't realistically want to give it up. And I'll try to be, you know, very objective when it comes to that as well. So like I said, I'll apologize in advance. I'm gonna play this realism thing by ear, but that's kind of what I'm looking at. So Markstrom, this guy's gonna be a spot starter for sure. It's gonna be, I mean, we can move him, but how much value is that guy gonna have? Like realistically, like really, how much? He's got 4 years left on a deal, man. Vancouver, your contracts are shit. At least Miller's gone, so, okay, we could just let Miller go. I mean, it would make sense that Vancouver doesn't re-sign a guy like Miller. I mean, you got Markstrom, who can be your spot starter for a while, and then as you're training up Thatcher Demko, so they seem set on that. If we're looking at potential, though, yeah, Tanev, Goodbranson. Tanev, you got to definitely hold on to. Goodbranson, maybe a tender. Maybe you could tender a guy like that. Goodbranson, I mean, he was on Florida a couple years ago. It's not like he's a long-term Canuck, so if you're going to go the rebuild route, maybe you hold on to some other guys. I don't know. Goodbranson. I don't know. Berchi, yeah, okay. But other than that, yeah, they got this Boser guy who we know about. Goldolbin, who we know about. 2 right-wingers. Is he? I think Goldie's a lefty, so we could actually switch him to a left winger. Boser, Goldolbin, Horvat is a decent future right there for a forward core. Maybe a second line right there. But you got a two-way forward and 2 snipers. That's not always the best. You also got Berchi here, who's a green top 6. He could actually break into a first-line role, which would be nice. Then they got a Reed Boucher, but he's 23 with the red potential, though. So I think we play him on the NHL team immediately during the rebuild. Put him in a scoring role, because if we can make magic happen with a red, it's got to be done ASAP. Hutton, he's on the cusp. I think, yeah, we got to play him in his role as a green, so we have to make room for that top 4, which shouldn't be too much of an issue. Granlund, Marcus, yeah, he's listed to be depth, but we'll have to play him above his role. We'll figure it out, but for the rebuild, I think obviously we hold on to... Yeah, we hold on to all the prospects, obviously. We would need to try to stock up on some picks, but again, how realistic is it to go into a draft with like 5 first-round picks, or even more than 2? Like 3 would be probably the max I should be allowed to have, because man, if you think back to some of the other rebuilds I've done, I went into the drafts with like 5 first-round picks 1 year, 4 the next, or something like that, and I think that in itself is unrealistic for any teams to just give one team all those first-round picks. You know, the league notices. The league will definitely notice, so we'll definitely put some kind of a limit on that, and please give me all your suggestions, guys, and I will draw from them for sure to make this series as realistic but entertaining as we can, okay? And I was thinking about something where it's like we could like do no move clauses or something like that on our own, but that might actually just get way too freaking complicated. But if you guys want me to go that extra mile, I would probably do it. Man, I'm all for giving you guys what you want. All right. Anyway, just kind of browsing through here. So our lines as they're looking right now, I mean, obviously the Sedins are the one question. But they both have 2 years left on their deal, but they might retire pretty quickly. So to trade them, I would say we have to trade them to the same team like they want in real life, or they have to retire here. Nothing else besides that. So, and also, should we do a thing where to make trades, they have to be matching both people's blocks, or I don't know. That could get a little crazy, because sometimes, I mean, the computer's blocks are stupid. Like I said, if the draft is coming up, sometimes as a rebuilder team, like they're supposed to be a rebuilder, but there's like some kind of weird thing where like they want to give up their draft picks for like win now players, and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Like I've seen Pittsburgh do like that. Like they're clearly not going to be a playoff team, but they still want win now guys, and they're giving up all their, you know, firsts and stuff, and you know they are trash, and there's a lot of teams like that. So I don't know if I'm going to go strictly on EA's trade block for all that. I will do trades that make sense for both teams. So that's probably what I'll be doing. But obviously trade block makes trades easier to go go through. So there's always that. All right. So this video is probably going to be a bit shorter, but I do want to talk about everything. Any other? No, they have no other goalies. So Thatcher Demko's the one goaltending prospect. And again, you gotta hope that he gets good. Or else, you got Markstrom here. Now, Markstrom could be a good backup. I think we probably just hold on to him anyways. How many years left on this deal? 4 years left. I'm thinking that won't be that bad. Once we'll be able to re-sign him probably for less, and then he could be a really solid backup. So, I mean, you kind of build internally with that, or I don't know. We'll see. If he gets a big jump, then maybe not. We'll have to make a... At that point, it would make sense to make a choice between Demko and Markstrom. So then that trade would make a bit of sense. But for right now, you don't trade someone like Markstrom when you have no other options. You don't throw in two crappy goaltenders. No team really tanks on purpose anymore, even though some fans want them to. Especially in the lottery days, it's too risky to try to do that. So anyway, Jesus, man, Louis Eriksson's contract is fucking atrocious. Oh, man. It's like Vancouver decided, let's kind of try to win now, even though we're clearly not. And, oh, man. So, I don't know if we could ever move Louis Eriksson. He's just not good enough for the contract he's on. He's turning into kind of like a Luongo situation where if you don't play him and give him the ice time, his value just keeps dropping. All right. Yeah, so we'll figure out what's going on with that. Sutter, on the other hand, I'm not too sure how long this guy... Oh my God, he's signed long-term as well. So yeah, for a few years here, this is going to be tough going. This guy could be a third line. Oh, yeah. Okay. I would actually hold on to him to be a third liner. He's not making a terrible amount. Like, look at what Udon in Montreal Force was making, This wouldn't be bad to hold on to Sutter. He'll have to play second line for a bit while we restructure things, but that wouldn't be too bad. All right, so there's definitely have a lot of options in here, but we are going to need to draft pretty heavily first couple years. So we can try to make some kind of a, hopefully some kind of a trade here to guys who would want to give up some firsts here, which would mean more likely than not contenders, because I mean other teams maybe they don't want to give up their firsts quite yet. So we have to see if we get lucky and get a lottery team in there who wanted to make the playoffs, like a team like LA, obviously, they would trade away picks. They were trying to make the playoffs or something like that, then we could do it. But other than that, we have to try to make all the trades that make sense. We have to try to make signings that make sense and all that kind of good stuff. So this is my first foray, as I said, into the realism category. So again, I counted on your guys' help and things like that and your support, as I know you will, because everyone loves franchise modes. Definitely my most popular game mode, and I want to see this video get 100 likes. All right, I know we can do that. All right, so let's get this series started off good. 100 likes on this video, and we'll start taking it from there. In the next video, we'll start hopefully the rebuild, but I think you guys will agree this team definitely needs a rebuild. All right, so we just got into our new digs here in Vancouver, taking over the team, and we'll see what we can swing. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you guys in the next video.